Hi, it's the 22nd of June, and it is...
It's 7:19. Good evening.
Hello, Mickey. Did I not do that before? Welcome to Geeks. You see, production values have gone up massively, haven't they?
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh my God, this is awesome.
Welcome to Geeks on Screens with Coffee. Hello, Marcin. So, did we had this before, didn't we? Did we have the clapperboard?
Yes, but no, it was different. It was, oh no, hang on. And you had a magnet, the white magnet board with your I think your, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone blurred.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah, no. So you are, yeah, because you're on Teams. I've got the
yeah.
auto blur on. People can wait around. That's fine. I'll just turn that off so you can see it. Why would I go to all that effort of putting magnets on a freaking board if you
And
can't
not show it?
You can't appreciate
Exactly.
it. Oh, come on. Come on, Teams. Ah, you would have thought I'd know how to do this by now, wouldn't you? Device settings, camera.
It's hang on, I've just been there. Device settings. No, it's not settings.
You got to put your mouse over the
So
camera.
if you go to the three dots,
yeah.
and there's apply background effects.
I haven't got.
So
yeah.
Well, I'm on Mac. Maybe that's why.
No, if I click on,
So,
it's at the top. I don't have the three dots apply background effects. Yes, of course it is.
So,
but then it pops out the side, and then it wrecks the aesthetic.
I'm sliding here. Hang on. Yeah, slippery floor.
Right. So now you can see. There you go. Now you can see it properly.
Very good.
There we go.
Love it.
I mean,
this is quite some effort. Do it for every podcast. It's good.
No, not really. No. I mean, I like to pretend.
Oh, you've only done it for me. Oh my God.
No.
You kept it from the last one. No.
Did I used to take pictures of them, and that was more hassle than it was worth, because you had to get the right angle that you didn't get a glare off the magnet board, which is really tedious stuff to cover. So, welcome to Geeks on Screens with Coffee. You've got your
thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
OMG mug.
Oh my geeks, it says. Oh my geek.
I forget that we got. It's blurring in that. Yeah, that's fine. Just put it in front of your face, and then
I'll turn off.
There you go. So you were on. I'm going to go back season 1, weren't you? You were back. You were like, must have been like.
Yeah, it was like after the first lockdown, during the first lockdown, I think.
Oh yeah.
March, April, something like that.
Yeah, it was really early on. I mean, I could be really horrible and go, I should find out. I mean, what I should have done was a little bit of research.
We wouldn't have anything to talk about, so you know.
No, but I could have gone onto videos, and I could have gone back through time to go, where were you? You were right back at the beginning.
It must have been May, or maybe it was even June. Maybe it was exactly 12 months ago. I don't remember.
You before. Where are you? You were.
I remember I was telling you that we got bikes, so it must have been around May or June, because I think we got bikes in April. As in bicycles.
It was the 27th of April.
Was it April?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Oh, so how have you been over the last year? That's April, May, June.
At home. Most of the time at home.
What have you been doing at home?
So, working. But so this time, last month, I filled the tank in my car for the first time. Because I don't drive anywhere now. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, I've done 500 miles, just the grocery runs. Whereas previously I used to do 15,000 miles a year. Now it's like, honestly, it's second. So the first fill, so the previous one was in December, just before the new year. So I've gone for like 5 months on a single tank. It's amazing. Just don't use the car anymore.
During, I think it was the first lockdown, we did the same thing, or the second, whichever lockdown it was. And neither of us were driving. So it must have been whatever the lockdown when they stopped all children's activities. And the price of petrol dropped massively during that period. So it was just like I managed to fill my car up. It was just like a pound a litre, and now it's like at £1.30 something.
Yeah.
Nearly, I think £1.40 if you're unlucky. You get petrol on the motorway.
Yeah, I think it was 139 or 134 when it was a couple of weeks ago. I was feeling up. Yeah, I was quite surprised. Yeah, it's gone a lot, but doesn't matter really, does it? It'll last me another 6 months. Actually, I was considering buying so towards the end of 2019, I thought, maybe I should just get a new car because mine is like 12 years old. So, it's doing all right. But I thought, well, it's probably time to get a new car. Oh my God, thank God I didn't get it because it'd be like losing value every day,
Oh, yeah, but it would keep its value
not
because
doing
you're not
any money.
using it. I mean, it would.
Yeah, it would still be brand new, but 2 years old, but brand new. 500 miles done.
Yeah, I know. In 2 years' time, it would still feel like a new car. Maybe still have that new car smell because you've been in it so little.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably.
So I mean,
it's definitely different. It's all changed. We did a lot of sort of DIY work around the house. We did because we get to spend a lot of time in the house now, so we actually find time to do stuff. We did a lot of work in the garden, and just nothing really special, but not something that we had time to do before. Yeah, it's interesting, but nothing really nothing exciting, I suppose.
No, have you started going out now? Have you started actually being out?
So we went to Northumberland last weekend, just for the weekend. This was the first time we went anywhere since, I think, there was a period before lockdowns last year. So in August, I think, July till October, something like that. So we went for a weekend away last August, but that was it. There's nothing else. So it's it's different. It's just trying to learn how to cope with it, I suppose. Not in a bad way, cope, but it is different. Everything's different.
Yeah, well, you're just sort of so used to it. I mean, we were, I think, the first weekend that you were allowed to actually go out and eat out in a restaurant. We went out, and we went out, and it was like lunchtime, 12 o'clock on a Saturday, and I thought it's going to be dead. It's going to be us and maybe someone else. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if there's more than one other set of people in there. It was full. And we went out, I think, last weekend there's a place called the Waffle House in Norwich. We went there for lunch. And there was a queue outside, and these are people that have booked.
Yes.
But obviously there's less capacity inside, so it's a bit trickier, but they're the only times I've really left the house in how long, apart from
in a long time. There's a place in York now, like a newly opened restaurant with robots. So instead of servers, as in people, human beings, you get robots. It's amazing. I have to go there.
How does that work?
As in, there's like a little robot that sort of just goes around the restaurant and serves you plate, and I don't know how it works. That's why I want to go and see it. But it's quite amusing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do? Like, order your food on an app, and then like an R2D2 comes up, and the front
they
opens
actually
up
look
and...
like RD. Yeah, they actually look exactly like that. It's amazing.
I
don't know. I need to find out. I think it's Japanese restaurant. So it's one of the first in the UK.
Okay, I mean that sounds. I think someone said.
Sounds futuristic, but
I saw a post of someone I know. They had gone to Yo Sushi, and that's the one that had the conveyor belt with all the dishes on it. And you pay per. I've never been there. Shh, don't tell anyone.
I've never been to Yo Sushi. I never understood the conveyor belt, because how do you know what's yours? Or as in, you just take whatever you like, or
you take whatever you like, and I think you just pay. So if you take and the color of the plate determines how much you're going to pay for that particular
Okay.
thing. So it just goes round. Oh, I fancy that. I'll take that.
What if someone didn't like it and just tried it? Oh, no, don't like it. Put it back on the conveyor.
Not
Someone else.
everyone's trying to cheat the system.
If you see it with like a bite, like a sushi with a bite, and you're like, okay,
I think that's saying quite a lot about you, isn't it?
No, I'm saying what if. I'm not saying I would have done it, but I'm saying what if.
Yeah. I bet they'll have a way, right? I think that's completely changed, and I think it just comes over to your.
I don't like sushi though. That's why. No, I don't like. I like fish, as in cod or salmon or
live and swimming.
As in,
wriggling. You like them really
on
fresh.
A plate.
Okay.
I don't want that sort of fuss catching it and then make. I just like it on a plate, you know.
What, cooked for you?
As keep catching the fish. But I like fish as a meal dish, but I don't like sushi. Don't know why.
I quite like no, it's not. What is it? It's the wasabi. They do quite a good vegan thing in there, and they do vegan sushi, which is just rice in seaweed and stuff with a bit of soy sauce. It's all right. I
used to like. Is it? No, it's. I think it's wasabi. There used to be one in Leeds, and they did a really good steak. Nothing to do with fish, but it was really good. They don't do it anymore. Well, anymore. I mean, it's like, I don't know, 3 years ago I've been there. 2 years ago, last time.
I bet
it was a really nice red meat, like a sliced, sliced steak.
Was that really in the chilled bit, or was that in the hot bit?
Yes, it was in the fridge. No, it was in the fridge. It was like a salad. It was a bit like a chilled salad.
I mean, you got
really good, actually.
2 wasabis in Leeds to choose from.
I know. So I used to live in Leeds, but now we moved to York in 5 years ago or so.
5 years.
York. Yeah, 2016. Yeah.
While you were still at that, when we worked together, you were in Leeds, or you were in York?
Yes. Yeah. Because I used to drive.
Okay.
Every day. Yeah, it's a long time ago, isn't it? It's 5. What year was it when we worked together? 2018 must have been.
I'm rubbish at dates.
Yes.
If you said it was around sequel bits, the one with the something party, I might be able to remember. But everything else.
Speakeasy, I think it was.
The Speakeasy one. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it in London? No.
The magic one was in London, wasn't it? That was it. No, it wasn't. Oh God, I can't remember now. There was a couple in Manchester. So you would have probably gone to the Manchester one, since it's not that far.
No, I used to go to pretty much every single one. Used to go to London, Manchester a few times. There was one in York, time ago, really long time ago, in Bristol. Yeah, quite a few places. I liked it because it was different. Like,
well, I mean,
travel.
If when travel and stuff starts up, there will be another sequel bits. I'm pretty sure, because that's one of the main things about that conference is that it is physical.
Yeah, I like that. As in, I kind of miss the face-to-face conversations and meeting people.
I think everybody does.
It's like last year, when it all started last year, I thought, oh, this is brilliant, because you can go to any conference, you can do whatever you like with just your laptop. And now I'm thinking, it's just lost the whole. It's lost a lot of value. I mean, not the conferences still have a value and it's brilliant, but the interaction, that sort of side of it.
Well, you miss the interaction. You miss the ability to ask proper questions and go up and badger the speakers after and stalk them, and then get refused access to the speaker room.
Yeah.
If you did, not that it happened to me, but you don't have that sort of going out and then actually seeing people, talking to people. once you've been to a few of them, you see the same faces at SQL Bits over again, and it's one of the weird conferences. You see faces again and again, and you will go up and see them and go, "Oh, you were at the last SQL Bits," and people don't go that you're strange for doing that. You know, there is a community there, isn't there?
Yes, yes. I always think that I don't really want to chat to them because they'll think I'm strange. It's like, but no, it's all about.
Yeah, no, I think that there's a level of when you're at SQL Bits, you can say hello and stuff, and people aren't that.
Yes.
No. And if you go and help out, so you're a helper or whatever, you know, and you're room monitoring or whatever, you can just say hello to everybody and say, you know, hi, how are you doing? Have you seen this? You know, even if that's not what you would normally do, it gives you the permission to do it.
Yeah. Because you used to help, didn't you? You helped quite a few times, I think, on SQL Bits.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I haven't helped at the last couple.
At least the last few.
The
Bits.
last couple I hadn't. But
I'm sure you have. I mean, I say last few. I mean, define few.
I'd be lurking around.
Anyway,
I'd be lurking around. I mean, I go to SQL Bits more for the seeing people that you haven't seen for the last year or 2-3 years. Catching up people you haven't seen. You know, the pub quiz is the pub quiz.
I'm rubbish at it.
But you don't go for the pub quiz. One of the great things they have.
No, you go for the beer, obviously. But
all the tables are put out. You know, and people are answering questions, and then you go and get some food. You come back and you see somebody at a table, and you go and sit at that table for 10 minutes and have a chat with them while the pub quiz is going on, and then you go back to your table. Then you go for a drink, and you come back and see, oh, look, someone else at another table. Or go and talk to them, and it's a great excuse of getting to know people, because you're on a table with other people you don't know. I find that. You can use that really well to mingle if you're not that comfortable at mingling.
Yeah, I think it must have been Manchester, I think, the last one. Or at least the last one I went to. I remember that we had this, it was like a pub quiz, but it was in a pub. It was like a rented pub. Just after after one of the days, I can't remember which one. And it was, all the top people from the SQL community there and answering questions. It was quite good, really good. I'm sure you were.
Oh,
there was like a pub on the top floor, on the first floor, in like a private room or private floor that someone rented for us.
So
we had games and all sorts of stuff.
I think I can't remember if it was that SQL Bits or another SQL Bits said Power BI guys doing a. Was that the Power BI guys or the SQL guys?
I think SQL guys.
Because one year they had like two things happening, one with the SQL Cat team, and the other with the Power BI teams. The guy in a cube. Patrick.
No, it was SQL guys. There was a book Woody there, I think. Well, not I'm sure, and quite a few other people. It was really good.
I'm trying to think. The last one was Manchester, wasn't it?
Well,
was that the MEX?
Yes, but that was Speakeasy, wasn't it? This was Speakeasy, that.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't.
But I don't think this was the last one in person, or maybe it was. 2019. Yeah. Must have been, I think.
Yes. What?
No. There was one in 2020, I think March 2020, that I couldn't go. So this was in person, I think.
That was going to that one got called off. No, yeah. So that was going to be the circus themed one.
Yes. So I booked, but then I couldn't go, so I had to cancel. But didn't happen anyway.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So then they did that virtually.
Yes. God, it's just like so long. Like it's like it's only last year, but it's just.
Well, yeah. Well,
time ago.
time goes slowly if you're spending all day in a room working.
It has slowed down. Definitely, it has slowed down for me. Taking away the commute, it was a couple of hours a day, getting stuck in the car, or sometimes a couple of hours one way.
So are you finding that you've got that time back? So instead of leaving the house at 7 and starting at 9, you actually start at 9, and you finish at 5 or 6, and then you've got the evening instead of being home at 8.
Yes, or sometimes you start at 7, but instead of commuting, you spend more time with the client doing a project. But it works better. Do you think that people will come back to the office? So last year I thought no chance, because everyone realized they don't have to pay the rent. They can hire nationally. They're not limited to the local people. But then a lot of people say that they want the teams back in the office. So I don't know. I think it will depend on the company. It will depend on management and how people sort of look at it.
I think, like everything, there will be a part that comes down to money, because there's a lot of money has been saved by not having travel budgets, and by not having to keep offices running and things. But offices still need to be there. In fact, companies are still paying for the offices, whether you're in them or not. Perhaps some of the utility bills are less or whatever. But I think that people are naturally want to work in a group. If they're working with a team of people, if you use Teams effectively, you can have a really good meeting, but there's nothing quite the same as being in the same room. You can't, especially when you're talking to a client, you can't read. Yeah. It's much harder to read the room. It's much harder to judge jokes. It's much harder to, have that thing where it's more salesy, I guess, where you would have your meeting and then you would go out for a drink afterwards, and then the real business stuff.
It's what happens between the meetings, not in the meeting. Yes, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So whenever I would go to the office, I wouldn't really be able to do any work. I would just be chatting with people. So I would, go in the office once every 6 months or something. But then I would go.
Probably don't say that.
Well, no, that's what I used to do. I would only go.
I know. I remember.
And my pass expired. I hadn't been in for so long, right? Trying to get in the car park, and it doesn't work. All right. And you would just go and chat to people because you hadn't been in for such a long time. You'd just be catching up socially and things, and then you go back home or wherever, and work. Because if you want to get your head down, so it used to be work in the office, work from home as the exception. I think it will be the reverse. It will be work at home, go to the office for exception, for meetings, for particular nice face-to-face stuff. I think there's going to be a bounce where people will go, everyone will try and rush back into the offices as soon as they can. And then it will then trickle back, and it'll take another 6 months, 12 months, 18 months before there's an equilibrium. Because everyone wants to travel. You speak to anyone, they all want to travel for conferences. You know that as soon as, I think there's a conference that's set up for September or something. October. There's a couple of physical conferences that are now planning and putting dates in.
I should know. Should be on my website.
Yes, well, we'll get onto that. Oh, well, we can bounce. We can do that. We'll bounce to that now, because I was thinking about you when Pass started, when Pass failed, when Pass went under, and then a couple of people set up sites for like all the events that are happening, and you'd already set one up.
Yeah, it's been up since the first lockdown, I think.
Before the first lockdown? I'm pretty sure.
I think so, because you might be right, actually. You know better than I do. But because I wanted to have everything in a single place, whether it's online or offline, because it was always difficult. I found it really difficult to just know what's going on. And I thought, right, I just need a list of what's going on so that I can cherry pick where I want to go or what I want to listen to. So I just built a website. But then you're right, I think then the lockdown started and everyone went online. And it was a godsend because it was just brilliant. Because it automatically feeds into Meetup. Well, the other way around, Meetup feeds into it. So as long as the conference is on Meetup, then it will appear on my website. And it was brilliant. It's really handy. People love it, actually. It's quite good.
Oh, I see.
And it maintains itself. I don't even know if it's online. I mean, it is because I would have gotten an alert, but it maintains itself. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect website, isn't it? It's constantly updating itself because it's feeding from other sites, isn't it? So it never goes out of date.
No. Although it went down once or twice, and someone messaged me on Twitter that, it wasn't updating. I think something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good.
Enough people see it and they'll go, oh, there's something wrong. I'll send you a message. So you don't need automatic alerts. You've got human alerts doing that for you.
Exactly. I don't need an ops team to look after it. Yeah. You're right.
Well, they are your fail fast ops team, aren't they?
Yes. That's what I do with SQL Wash. This is just my beta testers, all the people.
How's that going? Because that's been going
very
good,
actually. I'm doing release 5 now, version 5. Although it means nothing really. The major release means that we have to drop the previous database because I can't be bothered doing migration scripts because I use Visual Studio. So if the SQL package, cannot work out what to do.
Oh, well, that manages
in terms of schema update, then But that's essentially, this is what drives the major version. It doesn't mean that there's any exciting features. It just means that I can't update. But anyway, so it's on version 5. And some exciting new features coming, hopefully. So
can you tell me what those exciting new features are? You can hint, can't you?
Plans. No, so I want I'm building a collector, like a centralized Windows service that will, because currently you have to have SQL Wash installed on every server because it does a local monitoring, which is good because it's no limits, as in, it's scalable.
And if the network goes down, you're still collecting data, which is the advantage of the local.
So I still want to keep that approach, but I also want to have, like a more sort of typical monitoring where you have your Windows service and it just goes off and grabs data into a central database. But then the beauty of it is that your central database could be all individual instances as well. Yeah, so you can still retain the ability to install on every SQL Server if you like, or have just a single one. So so I've been working on this for quite some time now, and it works. And I'm quite surprised because I'm not a C# developer. I mean, I am now probably because it's quite good. But it's all the multi-threading and thread synchronization. It was all new to me, and I was, oh my god, I was just going crazy. I thought, this is stupid. It's just C# is ridiculous. Stupid language, doesn't work. But no, it's quite good. I quite like it.
It takes if you were starting C# from scratch, it takes a while to get your head around a language. It takes a while then, and multi-threading is then another topic you have to get your head around, just like certain other bits. You need to get your head around it and understand it properly. Otherwise, what are these?
I think it took
and awaits and stuff. And
yes, but I think it took me about a couple of weeks to write it, and then another couple of weeks to actually understand it. Because it's easy to write something that just works. Yeah. But then you sort of go deeper into it, and then you understand. All right, well, no, that's really wrong. Yes, it works, but it's not the right approach. That sort of stuff. So then I rewrote it, and then I think it took me about a month to learn C# to a level where it's actually, I think it's pretty good. Yeah. Well, people judge it.
Well, is it open source?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it is all.
So people can go in and actually, they can do a pull request. They can update it, do a pull request, and you can pull it into the main branch if you like it.
Absolutely.
That's as long as that's the beauty of open source, that you've got all these other potential developers out there
Yeah, we have 15. Oh, no, hang on. I should probably check. I think 19 contributors or something like that.
That's pretty good. That's
9. Last time we spoke, so last April, we had 9. Although this is the only what GitHub sort of counts as a contributor. So you have to actively, you have to do a PR to be sort of counted as a contributor. But there's many people that don't have time for a PR, so they just sort of tell me that they even give me a fix. Also, they send me a script, but they don't have time, or they can't be sort of bothered, or don't really want to go the GitHub route, so they just send me a script. So there's many more contributors, but officially 19. I think that's pretty good.
Well, I mean,
so we got Grafana dashboards now, so real-time Grafana dashboards, and that's quite nice as well.
I do like Grafana. I played with it a little bit.
Good. So the problem with Power BI was that it's really good for data analysis, but it takes a long time to pull the model and to refresh the model. So if you're looking at, so a lot of people want to use SQL Watch as a sort of near real-time or real-time monitoring, but it doesn't work with Power BI because it could take a couple of minutes to refresh the data, even though it doesn't have to be a lot of data, but it still takes a couple of minutes to refresh the model.
Yeah.
So not really good for that sort of real-time approach.
No, and Grafana is a great way of displaying it. I mean, I've used InnoDB before because that's a great temporal database, and that's perfect for that kind of thing, pushing all your alerts in. I think I saw something the SQL Cat team did for monitoring SQL on Linux using Grafana, and that worked really well. All you had to do was spin up a few nodes, a few, what are they called? Docker containers. Yeah.
Docker, yeah.
Yeah. You spin up a couple of Docker containers, change a couple of files, and you've got a whole monitoring solution. I mean, what you want to be doing is you start pulling stuff from log analytics as well. It's another opportunity, shall we say?
Well, I've had it working since last year.
Oh, what, on log analytics?
Yeah. So it's pushing data log analytics, and it's
to log analytics.
Well, to and from.
Okay.
I mean, so no. So it's pushing to, and I can link Grafana to it, so you can query log analytics straight from Grafana if you like.
If you because you can push your SQL DB stuff out to log analytics, and then you can then use that as a source for monitoring.
Yeah. And
then you don't need to, you can just pick up that from one source and then monitor all those DBs in there. It's a way of you monitoring stuff in Azure without having to, because there's no way you can't install a service on a SQL DB.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Yeah, that's just an idea. You can have that one for free. I mean, you're not going to use it, but.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Azure recently, because I'm building the whole test environment I've got for SQL Watch is in Azure, and sometimes it can get ridiculously expensive because the trouble is, so I've got AppVeyor, the automated builds as part of GitHub, but this is very short-lived. So this is only to test your deployment or test the code itself. But then you really want to be running long. You want to have long-running tests for your monitoring, 24/7 monitoring, and it can get expensive if you have 10, 20, or 30 instances.
Yeah.
But there's no way I can test everything. It's absolutely impossible to test everything.
I mean, the only practical way really is actually just to buy a second-hand desktop or a new desktop, run 2 or 3 VMs, Docker containers on it. And
I got that too, yeah.
And just have soak testing running, and just hack it, and just have those.
I got a proper server at home. It was Xeon, 12-core Xeon, 64 gig of RAM, NVMe drives and all that stuff. So this is running 24/7, but there's a limit on and it runs everything. It runs the home automation as well. So it runs, I don't know, domain control, well, everything really that I need for my test stuff and everything else. But there's only so much you can do on it because it's a powerful server, but I don't know, 8-10 VMs. Azure is really unlimited, but
it is
expensive.
But it's a cost, isn't it? That's the problem,
Yeah.
Or, if you I mean, the only way you can supplement that is get a MSDN subscription, and then you get some free credits.
So I'm a Microsoft partner, so so as a company we do get some credits. But that goes as well. I mean, this cloud is expensive. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes it can go like crazy, and then the bill comes through, and it's like, I don't know, 50 quid on top of it. It's like, oh, Jesus, I haven't even used it.
Yeah, well, it adds up, doesn't it? If that's coming through every month, it's not okay.
It was was it Bastion?
Bastion, yeah. Which is
Jesus, this is expensive. I set it up, never used it, and it was like, I don't know, a few quid a day just to have it. Jesus.
If you want, because there's a VM, there's a thing in the middle, I think, that's taking your HTTP traffic and then converting it into something that's RDPing onto the server, and so you're not really RDPing anywhere. So that sort of Bastion gateway or whatever you're paying for, it's really good. But yes, it's a bit like a SQL DW. It's great fun playing with it, working with it. But if you don't turn it off, if you don't pause it, when you finish with it, you come back the next day and go, oh my God, how much did I?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I won't do that again.
Yeah. You can lose your house because of it, I suppose, if you're not careful.
Well, yeah, what you do is you don't set.
Fact, what would they do? Because I'm sure it must have happened, like someone ran a massive bill by mistake, and then what do they really go like after it, or as in court, and if you're not able to pay it? I mean, I suppose it's a stupid question, because as with everything, if you're not able to pay it,
comes off a credit card, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah.
I don't. I mean, companies.
But there is a limit. Okay.
Yeah, I guess potentially. I wouldn't know what would happen then. Yeah. See that you're all you're trying to steal food from Yo Sushi.
I suppose what they should do, they should have they should be able to run some analysis to say, well, hang on a minute, this guy is using way too much, or way more than the last month. We're gonna. I don't know. Well, they can't really stop it, can they? Because
they're Azure advisors. So if you log into when you log into the portal, sometimes you get prompted for it straight away. Otherwise, you can actually click on advisors, and what it will say, you're not using this VM, you should shut it down.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And now I got everything to auto shut down at 3 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I used to have it like auto shut down at 11 or whatever, and then I would use it till midnight, and then it wouldn't shut down till 11 the following day.
So it doesn't shut down when you use it?
When you're using it, you keep going, nah, forget it, don't worry about it. Shut down another time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can postpone it. The auto shut down.
As in when you logged into it via RDP only?
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you get an email saying it's going to auto shut down,
yes.
And then you can go, stop that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I've got my data warehouse, and I've got an auto shutdown routine thing that runs in a ADF that shuts it down every 2 hours. So if you happen to leave it on, it will shut it down. But so you never build up a big bill.
Yeah, this should be in production for any, not optimized application. You only have such amount of time to do your job. If you're not fast enough, then go get optimized.
Well, it is frustrating if I'm running some testing and then the thing just shuts down in the middle of testing. Or it won't shut down when you're using it, but what happens is you'll stop using it. The query will stop and then you could be demoing it to someone. You start the meeting, you go into the meeting, and you go, right, I've got to restart this all now. So it can be a bit annoying. So is it just you working on SQL Watch?
Pretty much, yes.
SQLWatch.io. SQLwatch.io.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, very sexy. So I probably do. Well, I do the majority of the changes into the architecture and everything. And the contributors either fix books, there's quite a few to fix, or propose features, or sometimes they also work on a feature or work on some changes, that sort of stuff. But majority of it, the whole like design and architecture and everything behind the scenes, I do it. Now, recently I did what was it called? 6,200 automated tests in Abwehr. It's part of Abwehr build, automated builds using Pester. It's quite good. Took me quite a bit to develop it, but it's 6,200 tests, but because I test on 5 different installs, 2012, 14, 16, 17. So really, there's less tests per instance, but it adds up. It's quite good.
Yeah, well, of course it does. It's all using up compute time, and you need to test every version. You have pretty much probably the same basic tests on every single version. Installing, setting up, making sure it's working, and then there might be specific functionality in, I don't know, 2019 that's not in whatever other version. So yeah, but yeah, it will all add up. It's all got to run, and I presume that's running every build. Might not be running on every check-in, but
on every it runs on every PR. So if you want to contribute, obviously it has to pass all the validation and all the tests, and then it runs on the merge into the main as well.
Okay, right. Yeah, well, you'll need it properly tested, and if you've got other people contributing, then the chance that something duff goes in by accident. Anyone can write a bit of code, think it's going to work, and it doesn't scale.
Yeah, absolutely. It caught me off guard quite a few times. Some extended events, because extended events changed quite a lot since 2008 and 2012 and 14.
Yeah.
So they caught me off guard. I was working on 2016. I thought, oh, this is great. I'm going to code it. And did it work on 14 or 12? I thought, Jesus, yeah, I should have tested it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the point of the automated testing, right? It picks up on that stuff.
But it's too late, because I already wrote something that I needed, and I thought, oh, now I need to back it out now, because I can't. If I can't, so the trouble with extended events in Visual Studio is that they are pretty much hard coded, as in you can't do a different extended event based on the version of the SQL Server, because in Visual Studio you tell it what database version you develop towards.
Yeah.
So I had to just change it into dynamic SQL, and then a bunch of case when and ifs, and I just deploy it that way.
Yeah, it's a bit ugly, but it works.
No, I love Visual Studio. It's great for database development. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
it's really good. It helps me so much. I don't think I'd be able to do SQL Watch without Visual Studio. As in, I wouldn't be able to do so many updates in short period of time, because Visual Studio is just brilliant at managing references. You rename a table, or you break something in somewhere, function, table, whatever, and it will not build it. It will just let you know that this piece of code is broken.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could have just broken anything, and you would never know, because you might not hit that particular function in a long time.
Yeah.
So it's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah. The references and the reference checking is pretty good. I mean, I haven't touched it in quite a long time. I don't know, just not many people are using it in data warehouses as much as they are in kind of normal SQL databases. It's a bit rarer to see people using it. People still use it, and we do work with people that are using it, but it's more of a rarity. But
yeah, wonder why. I suppose people just don't know. Is it because, when I was sort of DBA, or when I did the DBA work, it was mainly SSMS. There was no, because the Visual Studio is the developers, software application or toolkit, isn't it? So I suppose if you're a database designer or database developer, then you would lean towards Visual Studio more, I think.
Yes. So, well, traditionally that's where you would sit. But it doesn't do source control unless you've bought that tool from Redgate, which is I still winds me up that they do that so well. The check it, the version control on tables, so good. I mean, it's just so good. But you do that. It's there in Visual Studio, and you can just check your code in, and you can look at the tables, you compare them. It's great, but Visual Studio is not so great for handling the data. So if you're working from a development point of view, you're in there, but and for data warehouses, the Visual Studio add-in didn't come on until much later, so it wasn't supported till relatively recently. So that's probably why less people do it.
Although that place we were together at, we had to use Visual Studio because of PDW.
Oh yes, yeah.
Because you couldn't connect to it via SSMS.
That did come out eventually.
Really?
Yeah, that was fixed. Yeah.
All right. Okay. No, I don't. I could never. No, I remember first time I interacted with PDW. It took me all day to figure out how to connect to it years and years ago. I was like, what the heck?
It's yes. Shall we say it wasn't designed to be.
I need a cable. I'm running on battery because I had to use. Hang on. No.
Could just hear me.
That's it. I know. Sorry. I had to go get a cable because. Is it charging? Yeah, it's charging.
This is great TV, you know that.
So because I'm on my Mac now on a laptop because I don't have a camera. I don't usually when I'm on a Zoom call. I don't have. So I have a screen on a desk monitor, but I don't have a camera. I was looking at because I wanted to buy Windows Hello camera because I got my laptop and I got like a little rack for laptops and everything. So I don't have any. I like I've got a clean desk policy at home in my office. I don't like anything on my desk apart from screen and the keyboard. But obviously the trouble is that Windows Hello doesn't work. So I was looking at webcams with Windows Hello, but the price put me off. It's crazy expensive.
Are they? Okay.
I don't have a webcam. Yeah, it was like 150 quid for a Logitech Windows Hello webcam. So I thought, I don't know. But I don't use it. No one really wants to look at me on the conference call, so I just use voice. Or if I need, or if there is a requirement for a visual, then yeah, I'll just take a laptop out.
I kind of like having the camera on. I think partly for myself, just because I think it stops you from doing other things. If you're on a call and it gets a bit boring, you could be fiddling on your phone, you're not paying attention, you're looking at something else on the screen, you're not looking at them, you're reading your emails, but at least kind of if you're on camera, you're not going to be doing
like a
that.
self-control. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it kind of, yes. And I think it's nicer that people can see your face when you do make a joke or you do say something that is supposed to be sarcastic or whatever, that it's obvious that you're smiling at them. Which it works if people know you really well, but if people don't know you that well and you say something, even if you're a meeting with 10 people and you know 5 of them really well, you might say something that's, all 5 people go, that's what he says. He's a bit. If I say like going to a meeting and I go, "Hello, sweetie," to one of the people in the meeting, one of the guys in the meeting, someone else might think that's a little bit odd, but everyone else thinks that's fine. But if they know that it's kind of, me going, "Hello, sweetie," maybe that wasn't the right good example. Maybe if I said something a bit more controversial than "Hello, sweetie," but It's the only thing I could think of. But he said something that seems a little odd.
Oh,
They know that I'm
yeah.
smiling. Yeah, I might say something that's a bit insulting or whatever. And they know that it adds that human level of interaction. Not because I want to see myself in a tiny little window on the screen. God, tell me about your dog. So you said that you were getting.
So what day is it now? 22nd. I think a couple of weeks. So we're getting it in a couple of weeks' time. So because it must be 8 weeks old. The first 8 weeks he must be with his mother. So we saw him. Oh my God, a couple of 3 weeks ago, I think, something like that. It was so tiny. It was like
When he was 3 weeks old. I mean, was
was he? Yeah, he was around.
Was he still
3 weeks
blind,
old.
or had his eyes opened by then?
Yeah, I don't think he could see a lot. But he was born on the 13th of May. So.
Right. Are you ready for the commitment for a dog?
Well, must be now.
Are you? I mean,
yeah, we it's too late.
It's not too late. You can always back out.
No. It's I am. We'll see.
Well,
we've been talking about it for a long time, but like back in the day, we used to commute, and I thought, well, there's no point. It's not fair to the dog. You don't want to leave him alone all day. It's just no. But now it's like, yeah, we're doing it.
I mean, our dog will sit up here or sit downstairs and just sit still and lie there for most of the day.
So my previous dog, well, it was my parents' dog when I was at my family house. We had a Dog de Bordeaux, which is quite a big, kind of like a Mastiff style. It was a big head, and it looked scary, but it didn't look scary to me, but because it was quite big, it could be scary. But he was so laid back. Jeez, all day he did nothing but sort of just chilled on a patio and just sort of like looked around, looked at the food. Yeah, I might have some food. And just did nothing else. He was so laid back. Didn't cause any trouble at all. I mean, he when it was sort of coming back home, he was very excited when he was like, welcoming people. He could run around the house, but he was 70 kilos. So, running around, really excited running around the house. It's like, lift the table up or whatever, so he doesn't run into the table.
Yeah, I can imagine. 70 kilos is quite a lot of dog to be running around the house jumping at you.
Yeah, he was so strong. Yeah. So we're hoping that this one will be equally laid back. But
I don't know how you tell. I mean, there are better breeds for being more laid back, I assume, but it's the temperament of the dog.
So they are very friendly and apparently very sort of polite. That's the right word. And they are kind of laid back, as in they don't cause any trouble. Like they don't run around the house and don't eat your shoes or whatever, that sort of stuff. Apparently, but we'll find out. So if you do season 6, I'll come along and I'll tell you.
Well, you can introduce me to your Labrapoodle. Labrapoodle?
Yeah. Golden Doodle.
Golden Doodle, sorry. Golden Doodle. I mean, Golden Doodle. I mean, ours is a rescue, which kind of it just seemed appropriate, to have I don't know. It's one of those things of, I think my parents, we had kind of a few puppies, a couple of dogs, and it didn't really work out very well. And it just seems, I think if we get another dog, we'd get an old dog. Maybe one with like 3 legs, an old one that no one really wants anymore. I don't think I could have the puppy has a lot of energy, So you've got
Yes.
you've got like what, 18 months of 12 months of
And you gotta
puppy.
teach him everything, and that's, if you get it wrong, then your next 15 years is absolute nightmare.
Oh yeah.
I can see where you're coming from. We were looking to get a rescue dog, but because
Okay.
of the lockdowns, and it was pretty much impossible because everyone wanted a dog.
Yeah.
And then we looked at a few places, and there wasn't really anything, available or possible. But yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. I don't think I could do a puppy. That's really, it's just a rescue's just slightly older, and I'm not that fussed. So some people are quite picky about what they want the dog to look like or behave like, and as long as it doesn't poo and wee everywhere, and doesn't try and sort of gnaw my face off when I'm asleep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this will happen. I'm sure it will happen.
Yeah. I mean, when you've got a cute little puppy running around, it's going to be lots of fun, chewing,
For the first week. And then it'll be
toilet training, training, going for walks. Yeah, your puppy. So when we walk our dog and you walk past other like dogs and they've got puppies, they get really excited when they see another dog, and it's quite interesting, kind of, because puppies generally want to jump on you and they want to say hello and they're really excited, and because I'm quite used to dogs, I don't mind another dog jumping on me, but my wife doesn't like that. She's in some clean clothes, she doesn't want dog paws on them, but I'll go out and walk the dog, and but if another dog, if the dog's being friendly, I don't mind, because it's just what dogs do.
No, but that should be part of the training, I suppose, so they don't jump on people. Because if it's a tiny puppy, then they can't really do much. But they grow up. So if you don't teach them not to jump, then it'll be 40, 50 kilos dog sort of jumping on you. That's a surprise.
Yeah. And that's not great if you've got kids. Yeah. I mean, our daughter got really, one of the reasons for getting the dog was because she had a bit of a fear of a dog, because we were out in the park and there was this dog running around like a mad thing, just doing a dog thing, and she got knocked over by the dog. It was she just happened wrong place, wrong time. It wasn't anything to do with the dog, but because the dog was quite big, she got knocked down, and then she was a bit scared of dogs for that afterwards. But it was something, the dog wasn't being aggressive. It wasn't. So it was just an accident. That can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But it was.
And how old was she when it happened?
She was quite, maybe 3 or 4. And then any dog looks big, even if it's a small dog. Yeah. When you're that, they all look like the size of horses when you're that small.
Yeah, that's quite true. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, which is especially if they're running around like a mad mental thing, Yes, yeah.
It will be interesting. It will change our lives. I know that.
Yeah.
Especially in the winter when it's raining and whatnot, and you have to walk in.
Oh, I don't mind that. Got a decent pair of wellies. I went out the other day and it'd been raining, and because I walked through the fields, I had wellies on, but basically the tops of my legs were all wet because of the tall grass. Didn't think of that, didn't clearly. Because all
did you have
over
water in your wellies? No.
No. It's just from the from the rain, just gets caught on the tall grass, and it because all the grass is however high, just along the footpaths and stuff. So because it's been raining, it's just grown up massively.
Well, York is quite. So we used to live in Leeds, and it was raining all the time. Like wind and rain in Leeds is just a thing. And then we came to York, and it's like it doesn't really rain that much. If there's a rain, like it could be a forecast of rain for a week, and it'll rain a little bit, and it'll be sunny for the rest of the week. It's amazing
East Coast.
because it's the end of the Pennines. Because it's quite flat, and there's sort of Leases and Pennines, isn't it? So it starts there. So it was a big surprise to us.
So when it comes across from the Atlantic, you've got Ireland, known for its bad weather, rain. You've got Wales, and then you've got the Pennines. You've got Manchester, which is always wet. And then as it gets across the country, like the east of England, generally tends to be a little bit drier. Obviously, if the weather's coming from the south, then it doesn't make any difference. Or the north. Yeah. When it comes from the north, though, you get it really bad in Europe.
But it's not as often, though, is it, from the north?
No.
Most of the time, it's from the ocean, from the west.
Yeah. Yeah, if there's anything that comes from that side, then yeah. If there's a really bad storm, it will be either a terrible hurricane that's really bad, or if it's really cold, it'll be from North Pole coming down. But it's going on holiday, and then it's making that decision of, do you put your dog in a kennel or do you not go on holiday?
No, I wouldn't put it in a kennel. I don't think I would. So
you got 18 years of just of taking your dog on holiday. We go and find dog friendly.
It's like a kid, though, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, we find dog friendly hotels.
I don't know. Well, we'll just see. We'll just work it out.
And there are websites for dog friendly hotels and beaches.
I wanted to build a camper van. Now, I only wanted to do it. I don't think I'll do it, but I wanted a camper van. But and it would have been perfect. I think, at least in my mind, but I know it wouldn't be.
Oh no, it'd be great for 2 days.
Yeah, because it's when you sort of browse it online, or you see pictures of some really nice builds, like people come, not like I don't want to build. I don't want to buy a motorhome. I want to get like a VW Caravelle or whatever and sort of convert it. And I love the idea, and I could spend hours browsing it online and sort of looking what people did. And I'm thinking, and you go around to Europe and you spend weeks in there, and it's brilliant. But I know it wouldn't be. It'd be, as you say, first 2 days, yeah. And then oh my God, the loose fall. It's like,
yeah. We've got to get to the next. Right, we've got so much fuel. We've got to get to the next place by a certain date so we can get and charge up, and we can empty the loo. Oh, okay, all right. Let's get there first, right? It'd be fun for those short trips. But I don't think they're cheap, are they? They're not.
No. I mean, obviously, so when you buy a van, you can probably convert it for a few grand, but it'd be nothing like what you see online, or But yeah, that's not happening. But I always wanted to do it. I love the idea. Get a camper van and go around to Europe, and then
get something bigger than a VW camper van. Maybe something, like a proper mini Winnebago type thing where you've actually got some space.
Yeah.
There was someone was showing me, it was on their blog. They had a link to, it was some senior exec from some tech company. They bought an RV. So during lockdown, in America, the big Winnebago things, and then they just were working and living from that, and then traveling around, because all you need is a 3-4G signal, and you can work from wherever you like. It doesn't, Oh yeah. So my wife.
I can imagine the camper van in America would be the size of a British home.
Yeah.
So you'd have 3 rooms and bathrooms.
2 bathrooms.
Yeah. It'd be massive.
I don't know how big. Yeah, I mean, they would be pretty big because their roads are a bit bigger and they can cope with them a bit better. But you can also do what Brent Ozar's done, become a digital nomad. You can move out to a country for 6 months, pay tax in this country, and work from there. And as long as it's in the same time zone, that works. Yeah.
I don't mind different time zones. I don't usually go to bed. Oh my God, I'm I don't like sleeping. Well, I don't like going to bed, because I just think, well, I'm just losing out. When you sleep, you lose out. But then I don't like waking up. It doesn't make sense. I know. So I'd usually go to bed around at 1 or 2 o'clock. I stay out really late. But then I get up at, I don't know, 8, maybe 9. Well, it depends now. Well, there's no commute now, so you can lay in. But yeah, I don't like sleeping.
All right.
Well, yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I know.
I don't think you're losing out. I think it's well worth. A good sleep is well worth it, and a good lie-in. I like a good lie-in.
Oh yeah, I realize that every morning.
Yeah.
When I have to get up, it's like, oh my god, it's only been a few hours.
I'm kind of quite tired. Maybe I shouldn't go to bed so late. That's why I feel so bad in the morning. But I guess
that's why I'm so grumpy.
Yeah, well, if you keep the window, you've got sunlight in the morning. You wait till it gets to winter again and it's dark in the morning, and I don't even know if it's daylight yet. Is it midday yet?
Oh, winter! We used to leave house at 6 a.m. Around 6 a.m. It was dark every time. We used to come back. It was dark. I never saw daylight pretty much.
Apart from out of the window at the office, and maybe that's what would get you out of the office at lunchtime.
I used to work in a data center that with no windows.
Oh.
So there used to be times where I didn't see the sunshine at all.
That can't be good for your health, can it?
No, I don't think it can be good. No.
Do you know what? Give me a second.
Because it was, and you will know the place. I won't mention it, but you will know the place. It was there was nowhere to even go apart from the data center. Anyway, but yeah, it was in a place where there was nowhere to go. No, you might not know it, but
no, I don't know. Is it near Leeds?
Yes. I think I mentioned it to you, and then or you mentioned it to me.
Oh, okay.
It's quite popular. It's a financial.
Remind me after the call.
Yeah, I will do.
I've got the book. Sorry, I had a bit of a. I was speaking to at the weekend. Who was I speaking to at the weekend? Somebody nice. It was
Matthew.
Yeah. Matthew. And
the SQL Father.
Yes. Yeah.
Matthew Roche.
Yeah.
Roche.
He's a lovely man. And we were going to do a question from the emergency question book, but I threw it away.
Oh, you did it last time with me.
Yeah.
And I got stuck. It was a difficult question.
Right.
Last time.
What we'll do is we'll see what it's like. Pick a number between 1 and 1001, and we'll see whether we do it.
12. Oh no, hang on, that's too low. So 1001. So let's do 999. So 999.
Yeah, I bet someone's done that. Let's do 999. 999 is. So what I've started to do is, if I don't like the question, I'll just move to the. All right, we've had that question before, so I'll go to the next one. Is, do you want to talk about Brexit?
Yeah, go on.
No,
oh my god.
No.
No, there's nothing to talk about. It has explained itself pretty well in the last, since January.
Well, I guess I've not been thinking about it. We've had all this other stuff going on.
Yeah.
Pick another number. Go on.
888.
888. Or I could pick a question. Have you ever seen a ghost?
Well, I haven't seen it, but when my granddad passed away back in well, 1997. It was just right after Christmas, and so me and my parents we were traveling. We were going to the mountains, but just right after Christmas for a New Year sort of mountain trip. And he passed away while we were driving there, so we weren't. And it took a couple of days to come back. So we were then sitting at the table, and there was a knock on the window, as in like, I don't believe in those things, but it was like a knock on the window. And it was quite a few people, family members in the room. And I look at my dad, and he looks at me. And I go, what the heck was this? And he goes, yeah, someone's knocking on the window. So, such a random thing. No one else heard it. And I was like, don't know. But that's it. I don't know. Not a ghost, but it was bizarre. It was weird. If it was just me, I'd think, I'm just going mad. But it was me and my dad, and we two were away, as in, right after Christmas. And my mum, but then she was in the kitchen, I think, so she didn't hear it. But it's almost like he just wanted to say goodbye to us because we weren't around. I don't know, no idea. But yeah, that was strange. If someone told me this, I'd go, yeah, talking bollocks, mate. I have to beep it out.
No, it's what.
Because it happened to me, I'm like, yeah.
Well, it's whatever gives you comfort, and that's really the important bit. Is no one else can prove it or disprove it. It's how you felt about it is the most important thing, really. Kind of. So that's really it. That's quite a nice way to end it. Your granddad knocking, let you know that he knew you were there and saying goodbye. And that's time for us to say goodbye.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure. It's been an hour and 15 minutes already.
Well, yeah. It's been an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, the problem is the time just goes so quickly that I forgot about it.
It's still bright.
Sorry.
It's still bright, as in outside. It's like middle of the day, almost.
Yeah, well, that's what you get in midsummer.
So yesterday was the longest day.
Yeah.
So today it's almost as long, isn't it? A few seconds short. It's still a pretty long day.
Yeah. You can ask Alexa, and so Alexa, when is the longest day? All right,
she's disconnected.
Oh, all right.
She's disconnected. But because I've lost the charger. Because it's like proprietary. It's like it's not USB. It's
it's a little round thing. Yeah. You can if it's the same voltage, same wattage or whatever, you can get a Model 3 one for 20 quid on Amazon today because it's Prime Day, but you can probably buy one of the chargers from Amazon for.
Yeah, but I wish it was USB. It would have been so much easier. Because I got plenty of USB, but I don't have plugs, like sockets. Because they're quite chunky Sunday, so it's always a trouble.
I think it must be using more than 5 volts. Otherwise they probably would use USB.
Yeah, it's the amperage that it needs more. Because from 5 volts you can only get so much watts.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise you need chunky cable, and But there is that. Yeah, so it needs there's a higher voltage to deliver more watts with the less amps, if that makes sense. But yeah, because you can only do 1 amp through a USB. Well, I mean, technically you can do 2 amps through USB, I think.
Yeah, if you got one of the other chargers. But people would plug it into the laptop, so they plug it into to chargers that couldn't support it, and then it just wouldn't work very well.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's say we'll use this point. We'll say goodbye to everyone, and